Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast that desperately wonders what John Cena will do at WrestleMania if he doesn't win the Chamber match on Sunday. It's locked for Midcard. Well, welcome to our Elimination Chamber preview show. It's probably going to be the shortest preview of a pay-per-view ever because there's a whopping 4 matches announced on the card. All 4 matches. All sorts of 4 matches. So, yeah, that'll take not long to go through. Kind of a slow news week, too. Very odd. But we'll cover some headlines. We got a new Hall of Famer. What? And lots to talk about.
I think the term Hall of Famer can be used very loosely.
What? Yeah, slapnuts. But first, thank you to SpiderDuck.net for being our host, enabling us to be on iTunes and any of your favorite podcasting apps. Make sure that you do a search for Lost to the Midcard. Hit that subscribe button. That way you know every time a new episode comes your way, every Thursday, every Monday after a WWE pay-per-view.
Double E.
Double E. Yes, Kozlov. Double E. I can't replicate Angle, so I'll just replicate Kozlov.
WWE.
Yeah, it's impossible to replicate Angle trying to say that, but... And, I
wonder if that makes Vince twitch every time he pronounces WWE.
He's gonna puke!
Damn it, why can't he just say it right?
Speaking of puke, before NXT, you know how they show clips of shows? And they did a clip of Storytime? And they did a clip of Storytime when Duggan was talking about the run, like the 2-month run he did with Andre at house shows. And how the singlet would stink, and later in the run, like every match he would take the strap of the singlet and choke Duggan with it, but later in the somewhere out west, he decided to put the strap in his mouth and choke him with it that way, and yeah, as he put it, the giant juice was getting in his mouth, and he hurled on the floor. Let's just say. All right.
Yummy. I'm glad I missed that. I was out grabbing dinner before NXT started. I'm kind of glad I missed that.
That would have gone great with dinner. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, not really.
After that wonderful diatribe, you can also subscribe to us on YouTube, and the links to all that on our Facebook page, facebook.com/LostToTheMidcard. Go to the pinned post there, or you can go to our pinned tweet at LITMC Podcast on the Twitter, where we show share a lot of great stuff from the wrestling world. And you can get our subscription models there. I'm your host, Jeremy Bennett. You can find me on the Twitter at JBHuskers. As always, for 160 episodes now. Well, for most of them at least. He's on the Twitter at Raw F Showtime. It is Mr. Matt Black. Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. You gotta wonder how TNA's feeling this week.
Yeah.
Impact Wrestling, or whatever the hell they want to be called this week.
Yeah. Let's get right into it.
I feel like the Hall of Fame is meaningless at this point.
Well, I think when Coco Beware was inducted, it was meaningless. What did he do? How many titles did he hold in the WWE? Exactly. But yes, the big shock of the class so far, because almost the entire list was leaked anyways. And this was actually even brought about for weeks too, but I don't think anybody believed it. But yes, ain't that great?
No.
Jeff Jarrett is being inducted into the 2018 class of the WWE Hall of Fame. First reported by NBC Sports. And he'll join Goldberg, the Dudleys, and Ivory WrestleMania weekend. And, of course, Jarrett, he's had 2 stints with the WWE from roughly 92 to 97, or 96, and then 97 to 99. 6-time Intercontinental Champion, which ranks him 3rd all-time, only behind Miz with 8 and Jericho with 9. Of course, he helped kickstart the career of the Road Dogg Jesse James, as he was the roadie. Of course, was the guy that they did the old Milli Vanilli angle and revealed that the Road Dogg was the singer of With My Baby Tonight. And that was, wow. That was In Your House 2 when that was revealed, Matt. Remember those?
Oh, I most certainly remember In Your House.
Then, of course, he continued. He went to WCW for about a year before coming back to the WWE. Then he went back to WCW again. Of course, there's the shoot interview when he came back into the WWE. A lot of people were kind of surprised that Vince let him kind of shoot at that point in the pro wrestling history. Went back to WCW, had a lot of success there. 3 world title reigns with the WCW brand until they folded, and then once they folded, well, then the rest is history, as he and his father Jarrett founded Impact Wrestling, which is still going on 16 years later. But of course, famously, Jarrett came back to Impact Wrestling in 2017, only to be kind of basically pushed out due to his drinking. He then checked into a WWE rehab facility, and it's been kind of an interesting year for Jeff Jarrett, so to speak, Matt. So to me, that just makes it really weird that they're putting him in the Hall of Fame this year. Why this year?
There's only one way this is going to make sense. I don't know if you saw me speculate this on Monday on my Twitter account. The only way this makes sense to me, beyond the fact that this is Vince's way of saying, "Ha ha, we got you," and we're the better people at the end of the day. Like beyond that, the only way this makes sense to me is if this turns out to be the year that they induct China into the Hall of Fame. Because if they induct China into the Hall of Fame this year, this makes perfect sense.
And how does that make perfect sense?
China's let's look at the class as of right now. I would argue that the 2 biggest defining moments of China's career was against Ivory at WrestleMania when she won the women's title, and was against Jeff Jarrett when she became the first women Intercontinental Champion. Mm-hmm. Ivory and Jarrett are both being inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. To me, it would make perfect sense to induct China alongside 2 people that helped make her career what it was in the same year. Mm-hmm. They always do one deceased... not always, but they normally do one deceased wrestler a year. Mm-hmm. To me, this is the year that they do China.
Okay.
And with Jarrett and Ivory both going in, it would make absolutely perfect sense as to why they chose to put Jeff Jarrett in this year.
Well, of course, the big rumor that the list of inductees that has gone around includes a deceased wrestler, Bam Bam Bigelow. So I don't know if that kind of takes away from China being in, or if they induct them both, which could happen. It's there's no rule against it.
I mean, Stephanie McMahon went out of her way to mention China on commentary at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, and
she's also been somebody that WWE normally doesn't like to go out of their way and mention on TV as of late.
Yeah, and they showed her. Obviously, they had to with Ivory. They showed the clips with Ivory, and she's being shown and mentioned a lot more, just kind of like Hulk Hogan. But Hulk's not back either yet, brother.
But you don't need to worry with China being deceased. You don't have to worry about China having a live mic.
No.
Like whoever's going to induct her and accept. Unlike what you might have been risking by putting China with a live mic in that situation, you don't have to worry about that anymore.
You can
do the right thing and induct China, and To me, this is the year to do it. I'm like, with Jarrett and Ivory both going in, it just makes perfect sense for this to be the year that China goes in.
Would you have Hunter and Sean induct her? Have them both induct her into the Hall of Fame?
I would just have Hunter.
Okay.
Honestly. But yeah, you could do Sean too. I mean,
got to be Road Dogg for Jarrett, right?
I heard something about Jarrett earlier today, and I'm trying to remember who I heard, and it didn't make any fucking sense to me.
Well, there's times where it don't make sense. So.
Shit. Who did I hear? If I remember it, I'll bring it up. I heard somebody else for Jarrett today, and I heard Paul Heyman for Goldberg.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Which doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
That means,
and I'm hoping that's wrong, because Paul Heyman makes more sense to induct the Dudley Boys.
Yeah, if Heyman's
than it does to induct Goldberg.
If Heyman's inducting Goldberg, that means Edge and Christian are probably inducting the Hardys or the Dudleys.
Yeah, I can't see Matt Hardy being backstage at that Hall of Fame ceremony.
No.
So I can't foresee the Hardys inducting.
Yeah, that was my wish, was to have all four guys induct the Dudleys, and you know, the triumvirate of TLC. But yeah, another guy that probably won't be backstage is Kurt Angle, right?
Yeah, I feel Matt Hardy, Rebby Hardy, and Kurt Angle need to be on one side of the audience.
They're gonna probably have a watch party.
And Jarrett and Jarrett and company need to be at the other side of the audience.
Yeah, they'll probably have a watch party if they're not in attendance. Yeah.
Well, I know. I think they'll be there, but I think they'll be kept separated.
Yeah.
I really and truly do. Like, the last thing WWE wants is, you know, a situation during WrestleMania weekend. I mean, that never bodes well for the talent when situations like that happen. They need to keep them separated. So
thank you, Offspring.
Yep.
And of course, everybody from around the wrestling world congratulating Jeff Jarrett. Triple H saying, born into the business, Jeff Jarrett not only led a decorated career but created opportunities for new talent around the world. Congratulations, Double J. Welcome to the Hall of Fame. Scott Hall gives his welcome. The Archivist. I didn't know this existed, but it must be the WWE account for the guy that's in the warehouse, as he showed off some of the gaudy Double J hat and the light up suit that he wore. I can't remember when he wore that. I think it was. I'm not even gonna begin to guess.
Sometime in the 90s.
I'm gonna follow that dude though, man. The Archivist. I bet he takes pictures of some cool shit back there. I would assume this guy, I don't know, maybe he's legit, I don't know, or maybe he's just who knows? He's not verified, so. Bobby Roode says, congrats to a friend and a man who helped me get to where I am today, of course, talking about the TNA days. Dave Lagana, Blue Meanie, Eric Young, Gail Kim, Rob Schamberger, pretty sweet little portrait of Jarrett there. I like that one that he did there. Did you see that one, Matt?
Yeah, all of Rob's work is great. He's a talented dude.
So the wrestling world came together to congratulate Double J, Jeff Jarrett, who's going into the WWE Hall of Fame. And of course, who else would we leave out but Impact Wrestling? Impact Wrestling tweeted as well after the announcement, we'd like to congratulate Impact Wrestling founder and Hall of Famer Jeff Jarrett on his induction to the Hall of Fame. Much deserved. And now for some less enjoyable news. It was announced just basically the day our podcast dropped, but we had already recorded well beforehand. It was announced on Thursday that Rich Swann has been released from the WWE. The word is Rich Swann and the WWE have mutually agreed to part ways as of February 15th and wish him the best in his future endeavors. Of course, Swann in the news this last December for false imprisonment, kidnapping charges. Everything dropped on his wife, Sue Young. That was all dropped, but we never saw Swann again after they had basically taken him off of television. Swann was signed to an NXT deal in 2015 after spending several years in Evolve and Dragon Gate. And, it didn't take long for Swann to get work, as it's been announced that he will be joining Tommy Dreamer's House of Hardcore March 23rd in St. James, Long Island, and March 24th in Philly, and he'll be there Mania weekend in New Orleans, April 7th. Tommy Dreamer announced via the social media. Matt, what are your thoughts on the WWE releasing Swann?
I got to be really careful about how I word this response.
Why you say that?
Because I have I have more information on this than I'm allowed to truly divulge.
Oh, okay.
Let me just start off with the fact that I will say that I do know for a fact that the release was in fact mutual. And I will go on to say that I do believe we will see Rich Swann in the WWE again.
Okay, good.
More along the lines of the first Alberto Del Rio release.
Okay.
When they let him go and they let things in the situation and shit blew over, and then they brought him back. And I believe we will see Rich Swann popping up in other wrestling promotions sooner than you think.
Yeah, he's already going to be around.
I'm not saying Impact, but I do believe you will see Rich Swann popping up in other independent wrestling promotions across the United States sooner than you think. And I'm not talking House of Hardcore. I'm talking way before that. So keep your eyes open if you're a fan of Rich Swann.
The honor that has rings.
He's going to be going around. I'm not dropping hints.
You know what he needs to do?
I'm not saying anything other than you're going to see him working before you think you're going to see him working. Like, if you think his next date's with House of Hardcore, you're wrong. That's all I'm going to say. But I do believe you will see him return to the WWE once they are fully satisfied in their mind that all of this is blown over, and they can bring him back without any uproar or issue from, parties that might have a initial problem with what happened a few months ago.
Yeah. Well, there is a major promotion that is hiring his wife, so maybe.
Yeah, I don't believe that's going to be one of them.
You know what he should do? He should just go around from promotion to promotion and try to take all the titles off of Austin Aries that he's wearing. That was so fucking great when he came to the ring wearing like 10 titles. Hey, we're going to talk Impact for a third week in a row, too, by the way, so look out. That's what happens when the greatest man that ever lived is the champion. We talk about Impact Wrestling, so there's your hint. Dummy!
Yeah, I mean, look, it's been watchable.
Yes.
And I guess that's the best compliment I can give them over the past couple weeks.
There's a few guys on the... There's
been a couple good matches. Nothing's blown me away, but the show hasn't done anything to make me go, oh my god, why am I watching this shit?
Yeah.
And wanting to turn it off. And I guess that's the best compliment I can give Impact in the state of form in 2018, that they're not making me want to turn the channel and watch something else.
Well, it's about the best compliment you've given them in the history of our show, so...
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. I used to be a big time supporter of TNA wrestling.
I'm talking about our show.
Yeah, no, I'm sure at some point I complimented them much better than that within the last few years. I don't believe that.
So
I think you're stretching the truth a little bit, pal.
Ah. What do you know, pal? Who besides D'Amore is doing the creative work right now? Is Callis doing that too, or is just... Do you know?
I believe he has a say. I don't know if he's fully on the creative team. But I mean, he's definitely a part of things there. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's really I'm hearing it's only like a 3 to 4 man team Like I've heard Sanjay Dutt's writing a lot of the TV show right now.
He's not that bad in the booth either.
Nah, he's not terrible. I honestly I really do miss hearing JB. But I mean, what's done is done. I mean, there's not really anything you can do about that when you've lost your guy. You kind of just have to go with the flow and do what you can.
Yeah, I had the privilege of interviewing Jim Ross, the legendary Jim Ross, today, and JB came up in our interview because Jim said he's going to probably have JB be his MC for his special Q&A session over WrestleMania weekend, and he couldn't have had much. He just said that was like like WWE knocked it out of the park when they hired him. It was a good get, and they got themselves a gem with JB. He had a lot of great things to say about him. Excited to see what he does. On camera or off, either way, he's going to help the company, and sounds like help NXT. So, Big Cass has been seen at the Performance Center as of late working out, and Mike Johnson, a PW Insider, says that he's been told that he looks to be in great shape and walking around without any assistance. Tore his ACL in a match against Enzo Amore in August of last year, and so since then he has been working his way back with the company. Initial diagnosis was 9 months, which is amazingly coming up. Matt, it's hard to believe that it's already been 6 months since Cass was injured. So looking at possibly May, but if he's in better shape, he could maybe be just after Mania, don't you think, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely not going to see him before Mania.
No.
I mean, he'll be somebody if he's ready to go, he'll be somebody that they could bring back the night after WrestleMania and plug him into a storyline at that point going forward. But yeah, they're definitely not going to risk doing anything with him until at least after WrestleMania.
Yeah. You bring him back as a heel or a face?
They can do whatever they want now that Enzo's gone.
Yeah. Well, they don't really. It's like, pair him with Carmelo. Well, they broke up, so.
Yeah, I still don't know the story of that. Like, as of like, if you're watching Total Divas, like they just moved in together in like the season finale. So that's kind of shit.
Maybe it's all a work. It's all a work.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It just sucks. I hate it when people that seemingly happy couples break up. Just kind of shitty.
So, no word yet if he's been taking bumps in the ring, but he's heading in the right direction for sure. CM Punk took to Twitter on last night. Says, I got a two-parter for you guys. Recently, a lot of people have been asking me if I'm in, with "in" in quotes, because, well, there's a certain show called All In coming up, I believe, in September. A little thing that Cody Rhodes is putting together there with the Bucks. So everybody's like, oh, he's all in, and then Punk's like, yeah, you know I'm in. Cubs, everybody's in, because Cubs are using the hashtag everybody in, so Punk got us, but Matt, you're not buying it, are you?
Something's telling him if the venue is in Chicago, which I am being told that it is. Like, I don't know where in Chicago, but from what I'm being told, like, the venue is definitely somewhere in Chicago. And if that is accurate, with as close as CM Punk is with the Young Bucks, and depending on how his fight goes on June 9th in Chicago for the UFC, because I'm telling you right now, whether he's all in or not, you ain't going to know until that UFC fight's all said and done. Yeah. They are not going to announce that prior to that fight, because the last thing UFC wants right now is a pro wrestler in their octagon. So, like, if CM Punk is all in, and I believe he is, we're not going to hear about it until after his UFC fight in June. And I think he is. I think due to his relationship with the Young Bucks, I think they came up to some kind of an agreement, and I think Punk's going to be there. Like, I don't even, you know what? I don't even know if he'll wrestle. But Punk will be there.
If he wrestles, man.
Even if it's just to come out and cut a pipe bomb type situation, I think CM Punk will be it all in.
It'll still put butts in the seats.
Exactly. When you run down the card and you end with an appearance by CM Punk, it's still box office whether he wrestles or not. It's the first time you see CM Punk in a wrestling venue in years. Yeah. People are going to go to this no matter what. Punk's going to push it even more.
Yeah.
And Cody even said on his Twitter account last night during a fan Q&A, if the initial ticket sales for this are strong, they're going to look into ways to air this live on the internet. So, I mean, this is going to go beyond just making sure you sell out a crowd in Chicago. This is going to go to the point where they're going to want this card stacked enough that people are going to want to go online and pay, to see this event on the internet when it happens in September. Man. CM Punk is going to be a hell of a get if they can pull it off. And honestly, if anybody can get CM Punk back in a wrestling ring, promo, wrestling match, whatever, it's Matt and Nick Jackson. So it's going to be very, very interesting.
Now that we're getting Cody and Omega at 16th anniversary, could you just imagine CM Punk versus Kenny Omega? Woohoo!
Dude, look, there's no end to the possibilities that they can do depending on who they sign for the show. I have a feeling it's going to be huge. I'm kind of bummed that it's not going to be in Philly because I really would have gone. But everything I'm hearing says this is in Chicago, so and it's just something I'm going to have to deal with, unfortunately, because I am not flying to Chicago. I'm just not.
I might. We'll see what happens. Speaking of Kenny Omega, he is part of two big names added to the Cruise of Jericho. Floated on, man. Kenny Omega and ROH World Heavyweight Champion Dalton Castle are now added to the Chris Jericho Rockin' Rager at Sea, which takes place October 27th to the 31st, leaving Miami, Florida, then heading to the Bahamas. A lot of Ring of Honor stars are going to be on the card. There's going to be a Sea of Honor tournament. It's going to include the likes of Hangman Page, Marty Scurll. The Bucks are going to be there. Daniels and Kazarian are going to be there. Delirious, the Briscoes. The list goes on, and the additions keep going on. And God, I want to go so bad. James Ellsworth got his big title match last week against Nick Aldis for the NWA Heavyweight Championship. And unfortunately, Matt, Nick Aldis is still the NWA champion.
Didn't watch it.
I watched parts of it.
Until I hear that piece of shit's no longer champion, I won't watch anything to do with the NWA.
I watched bits and pieces of it. It was a pretty good match. Ellsworth put on some pretty good moves. And even Aldis had to cheat to beat, for the first pinfall, but ref didn't see Ellsworth put his leg on the ropes, and ref counted 3, and another ref came down, and they went to instant replay. And so they restarted the match, and Ellsworth hit this sweet flatliner move off the top rope onto Aldis. That was pretty cool. But yeah, no new champion, though that would have been sweet. And Matt would have been dancing in the streets because Nick Aldis is no longer champ. But Jim Cornette claims NXT lost $32 million in 2 years.
Yeah, I'm not really buying Jim Cornette's claims.
Oh, come on. Yeah, I just saw that headline. That was all I had. The headline flashed. That was all I saw. A mystery promotion taping television in Nashville next month. If you go to NashvilleAudience.com, there's free television tapings from March 27th to March 29th. And among those that are set to perform are James Storm, Jeff Cobb, who is Matanza on Lucha Underground, Brian Pillman II, Shane Strickland, who is Killshot on Lucha Underground, and Corey Hollis. What is this mystery promotion thing, Matt? You have any idea?
No, I don't have a clue.
Weird how it's nobody knows who the promotion is, but you can go watch the television taping or whatever. And as I mentioned, Jim Ross announced last week that he's bringing his one-man show to WrestleMania week. I had the chance to interview him. I will once I have the complete interview on YouTube. Once that gets up to YouTube, the article's already out on Sportskeeda, but once the interview is added to it, I will post that on our social media for you guys to check out. But Slobber Knocker Sessions is going to be in New Orleans on Friday morning, April 6th at 10 a.m. Tickets go on sale this Friday, February 23rd at 10 a.m. The event is only limited to 100 people. It's an $85 entry fee. The $85 gets you the Q&A session with Jim Ross, a hard cover copy of his book, My Life in Wrestling, personally signed by Jim Ross himself. You also get a meet and greet with Jim Ross, get a picture, and take home some barbecue seasoning as well. And so that's only limited to 100 people and go on sale this Friday, 10 a.m. at ticketfly.com. President's Day this week, so no SmackDown ratings, but we got Impact, and Raw. Impact goes up a little bit to end exactly at 300,000 for the week. Monday Night Raw started off with an interesting bout, a 2-hour match to kick off Monday Night Raw, which we'll get into. But Matt, that 2-hour Raw paid off in the ratings, didn't it?
I'm so happy. I can only imagine the grin that came across Triple H's face in Stamford, Connecticut today when the ratings came in for Raw.
Mm-hmm.
Because the first 2 hours of that show had Triple H's fingerprints all over it.
Yeah.
And the fact that they only lost 9,000 viewers between hour 1 to hour 2, and they kept like 3.5 million people watching that match, fucking awesome.
I mean, if you don't count Raw 25, 3.509 million for the second hour is the best since August 21st, which would have been the Raw.
After SummerSlam.
Was it after or before?
I think that was after.
Was SummerSlam on the 20th?
I think it was.
Yeah. 3.518 million in hour 1, 3.509 in hour 2. Very sharp drop off to its usual 2.8 million in hour 3. We'll get into Raw and the spectacular. But yeah, Matt, you think that was a test run? Because
I really do. I absolutely believe that was a test run.
Uncle Dave said Triple H is currently putting together his team that's taking over NXT once he takes over for Vince, which sounds like could be sooner or later. It sounds like he's gradually taking over the duties little by little, starting with 205 Live, which has been tremendous over the past month. Yeah, so this definitely looked exactly like a test run for Triple H, didn't it?
Oh, no, absolutely. And it could not... Honestly, it couldn't have gone any better.
Mm-hmm.
I truly... As happy as I believe Triple H was when those ratings came in today, I am super curious to know what Vince's reaction was. When he saw that a 2-hour wrestling match kept his audience better than anything that he's put out in almost a year.
Yep.
I'm so curious that I would love to be a fly on the wall when both him and Hunter got those ratings in this afternoon.
So I'm going back to further. They hit 3.6 and 3.46. Looks like they had strong second hours the week before Mania and the last 2 weeks after Mania. So they had a good 3-week run.
That's always to be expected right around WrestleMania too.
Yeah, and then after that, after 3.6 after the Rumble, I'm not seeing a 3. I'm not seeing any 3.5. I'm not outside of after a pay-per-view. I'm not seeing any 3.5s since the brand split at all, which it's got to speak volumes.
Oh, absolutely. Look, if anything, it proves to Vince that he is not as smart as he thinks he is when he claims that he knows what his audience wants to see. And I love it. I love it so very much.
And an interesting segue, another official announcement that was made by the WWE last week. All pay-per-views after WrestleMania will be dual branded going forward. That doesn't sound like a Triple H.
No, I guarantee you this was not a Triple H call.
Yeah,
and this is it as good as how Raw was on Monday. As good as that was for the talent and for the fan, this is not a good thing for the talents or the fans.
No.
At all.
I think we touched on this last week a little bit.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did too, but but I don't think we had it confirmed last. I think it was more speculatory. We knew it was happening at Backlash, but we didn't know what it was going to be going forward. But now that we know that this is a thing, this is really happening. It really fucking sucks, and it really it's going to be really, really hard for them to create new stars going forward on Raw and SmackDown if they're not going to let these talents have their feuds paid off on the pay-per-view, or hell, if the talents have time on the show. SmackDown's only a 2-hour show. And if you're building to a pay-per-view every month that's being split with Raw, you might only have enough things on your show to be focusing on the title feuds. So, yeah, this isn't good at all. But what the heck? There ain't nothing we can do about it, unfortunately.
Yeah, once Vince turns around, I'll fix it again.
Yeah, but you don't want to keep flipping back and forth either.
No.
If this was a Vince call, let's say this was a Vince call, and what we believe to be a Vince McMahon call, and Triple H takes over. Let's say let's say hypothetically speaking, he gets the book, and he has control over creative decisions in the company going forward as of July. He can't turn around and go after SummerSlam, we're going to be doing brand exclusive pay-per-views again. Because it's too recently changed. Maybe he can figure out ways to attempt to make it work better than what Vince is going to do, but you can't just go right back to the other thing after you just went away from it a couple months earlier.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really interesting to see how they handle this, and with the potential creative change regime coming with Triple H's crew. I'll be very curious to see how this all works.
Yeah, so the announcement official, no announcement of course the rumor is that all pay-per-views are going to also be 4 hours as well.
God, I hope not.
God,
I hope not. Please don't. Because you know, JB, if the standard pay-per-view is 4 hours, that means WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, etc. are going to be 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And that's not counting the pre-show.
No.
Because you count the pre-show, if you count the pre-show, the normal show is going to go to 5 hours. So at that point, you're talking that WrestleMania could be like a 7 or 8 hour show if you include the pre-show, and that's scary. I don't want to sit through a 7 to 8 hour show. I just don't.
Yeah, it's on paper this just looks terrible, and I don't know why, but I know why they're doing it, but it's not the answer. This ain't the answer to low ticket sales.
This is not the answer.
No.
If they were worried about ticket sales, they should have done the shakeup that they were planning to do last fall.
Mm-hmm.
And they chose for some unknown reason not to go ahead with it. If they were worried about ticket sales, they could have fixed it then, and they didn't do it. So don't blame your low ticket sales on that right now. Blame your low ticket sales on the fact that since you did your first shakeup of the two brands, SmackDown has been a shell of its former self. Because Vince went out of his way to kill the SmackDown brand to make sure Raw was better. And all of a sudden, SmackDown ticket sales are suffering. You did it to yourself. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
And the total number of pay-per-views for 2018 will go down to 12. Initially, 14 were planned, but that's going to go down to 12 now. Payback has been eliminated in May.
Yeah, that was the Baltimore show.
Yeah, and Hell in a Cell has been moved, and it'll be a dual-branded show. And Extreme Rules goes bye-bye. And Extreme Rules doesn't go bye-bye. It gets bumped up to replace Battleground. So, Battleground and Payback, I don't think many people will miss. So, well, hopefully this guy can take the title from Nick Aldis. It's been announced by the NWA that Colt Cabana will be challenging for the NWA title this April in China. He'll be facing Nick Aldis, and part of the initiative that Aldis is defending his title 20 times over the next 60 days. And so he's already defeated James Ellsworth, and he's got upcoming defenses against Tommy Dreamer, Crimson, and Bram. I have a feeling Aldis is going to win all 20 matches, though, unfortunately. Honor Club is now here. It's official. It launched on Monday. Ring of Honor's ROHWrestling.com redesigned, also relaunched with the unveiling of Honor Club. So you can now sign up for Honor Club. The $9.99 a month will get you access to the video on demand library, the television archive, historical events, compilations, interviews, and all that. Also 50% off of all ROH pay-per-views. You also get 15% off at the shop and exclusive access to ticket pre-sales. And there's also the chance to buy a standard subscription for $99.99 or up it to $119.99. And if you up it to the VIP at $119.99, you get all the pay-per-views included, which I think we broke it down on the show. Basically, you're paying for 4 pay-per-views and getting 4 for free. So that's all here. Right now, it is available on computer. There is beta testing right now on Android and iOS, and also Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV channels. Those are just for select fans right now. So at this moment, just worldwide, it is on ROHWrestling.com. So hopefully, Matt, it succeeds, huh?
Yeah, like I said when we talked about it last week, I'm still not thrilled about the fact that the VIP is a large sum of $120 all at once. I'd much rather they would have locked the fans into a 1-year contract, like a phone company, and just you're gonna pay us $10 a month, but you have to do it for a year. You know, it's not like to cancel anytime like the WWE Network. Like you could sign up for the VIP for $120, but you're paying them $10 a month instead of the $120 all at once. It's just a really hefty price to pay for on-demand content when everything else is much more price effective in the market today, like WWE Network and Netflix and Hulu and stuff like that. I feel like Ring of Honor kind of misstepped with this. I hope they take my words under advisement and choose to go a different route with how they handle the VIP. But it is what it is, and it will only change within time and based on how the initial sales are. So we're just gonna have to wait and see.
Yep. WrestlingDVDNetwork.com reported the match listing for the upcoming Twist of Fate Best of Hardy Boys DVD that comes out on May 1st. That'll start with the famous Ring in the Woods and the New Rockers against the Hardys back in the mid-'90s, and end with being classified as obsolete. And the latest match listing on the DVD is Miz and Matt Hardy from October 20th. So then they probably go into add some of the broken stuff in on the tail end of that listing there. DDP was at Raw this week. Did not appear on the broadcast, but was there to film for some projects. One of them was for the Randy Savage Unreleased Matches DVD, which also Bayley and Sean Mooney were a part of talking for that DVD, along with looks like it appears to be hosted by Corey Graves as well. Page feuded with Savage for the WCW Championship in the mid-90s, and obviously was a big boost into making Page the wrestler that he ended up being. So that the unreleased matches there. A little more details will come out later. Impact Wrestling this week. Kick it off with Sami Callihan from OVE against Bobby Lashley. Of course, OVE's been a surprise attacked Lashley the week before. And I'm a big Sami Callihan fan, Matt. So I thought the match with him and Lashley was pretty good. Pretty predictable. I figured once Lashley would get close to winning that OVE would interject in the match. But I liked it, Matt. What did you think?
It was fine for what it was. I'm not as big of a Sami Callihan fan as you are. I mean, he's fine for what it is. I don't personally like the OVE tag team or stable or whatever the hell you want to call it right now. Not really a fan. But it is what it is, and they're probably all very cheap for Impact to keep employed, so that's why they're there.
I like him better than whatever the hell Trevor, whatever his name is. I forgot his name already.
Trevor Lee
and Caleb Conley. I like OVE better than whatever they're doing with those guys. So Lashley wins by DQ. They beat up Lashley, and Eddie Edwards makes the save. Eli Drake and Chris Adonis are interviewed by McKenzie. Eli says this is not a rematch, this is the first match. He doesn't consider Austin Aries as champion. He is Eli Drake is the recognized champion of Impact Wrestling. He hopes that Aries enjoys carrying that belt around because he's been all over the world picking up titles. We'll find out when he comes to the ring later. But he's never looked at a guy like Eli Drake. They show a promo for Brian Cage, who makes his debut for Impact Wrestling. LAX is playing some poker and drinking some tequila, making fun of Trevor Lee and Caleb Conley, calling them Fruit Loops. The Global Wrestling Network takes us back when Allie and Braxton ruined the wedding with Laurel Van Ness and turned her into a drunk. Austin Aries is backstage talking about all the title defenses he's had lately for his other titles, but tonight is his first Impact title defense. Talks about how he's going to walk out with that title. Moose was getting ready to be interviewed by McKenzie when Alberto El Patron, almost called him Del Rio, whoops. He runs in and starts attacking Moose. Hanaya the Huntress against Rosemary. Now that I know what I know, man, just looking at Hanaya, it doesn't look like she wants to be there. It's like knowing what happened, and then you watch her come to the ring, it's just like, yeah, she just doesn't look like she wants to be there, does she?
Makes me sad.
Think ROH will take her back?
I wish they would. They have a division now. As long as she doesn't have heat with anybody there, I would love to have her back.
I'm sure. Not many Impact doesn't really have many 90-day clauses, so I'm sure as soon as her TV runs out, she could maybe start appearing. How many more matches?
I'm wondering if that's why EC3 wasn't on the last set of NXT TV tapings.
Probably.
I'm wondering if WWE was showing common courtesy to Impact of not having EC3 on their weekly show until he gets that fired briefcase and the Feast are fired then in the next couple of weeks or so. I bet you know what? I bet you they hold EC3's debut off until New Orleans. I bet you he wrestles his first match at TakeOver New Orleans, like Aleister Black did last year.
Yeah, like Aries did a couple years ago.
Yeah, and now Nakamura the year before that.
Rosemary beat Hanaya rather quickly. After the match, though, Hanaya jumped Rosemary and beat the hell out of her. But Rosemary then bites the arm to get out of it. Goes for the red wedding on the outside, but Hanaya escapes. And I loved it at the end. Rosemary told Hanaya that she better get some shots. Matt Seidel is giving Johnny Impact some yoga lessons. That's interesting. It's even weirder to say Johnny's saying he's not sure his body's supposed to do this, because Johnny does a lot of things that his body's not supposed to do with all that parkour stuff. So Matt continues to talk about a spiritual advisor. How far out are we to that reveal?
He has to win the X Division title first, so we're probably still weeks away.
That's what happens.
Because it doesn't happen until after he has both titles.
That's what happens. That's what happens when you tape 6 months of television in a row.
Yeah, because they haven't even teased the fact that he's going for the X Division title yet.
Nope.
On TV, so I'm thinking it's got to be weeks away, maybe sometime in like mid to late March before that happens.
EC3 and a mystery partner are taking on Johnny Impact and Matt Seidel, and EC3 said, "Welcome back," and the camera shows Tyrus, and of course he was EC3's bodyguard 3 years ago. I think maybe the Destination America days. Was that 15 or 16, Matt? That was 15 when we first got started with the podcast, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
So EC3 and Tyrus take on Impact and Seidel in a tag match. Before that, Allie, of course, is meeting her secret admirer. If you don't know who this is going to be, you're pretty much blind. She finally goes to the meeting spot, and it's Laurel Van Ness popping out of a box. And vintage Allie, after she destroys Laurel and throws her back in the box, she walks away and then turns around and kicks the box. I absolutely just laughed at that was like vintage Allie right there, just walking back and kicking the box like it's going to do something. But I like what they've done with Allie. I kind of like the progression. I mean, it was a little weird when she's acting like she doesn't know what the hell she's doing with that whole thing with Maria, but I mean, Maria basically almost single-handedly ruined the Knockouts division, didn't she?
Yeah, it wasn't fun to watch it when she was in charge of shit.
So I'm liking what they're doing with Allie here. So I'm excited what they're gonna do there in the future. EC3.
Well, they kind of fucked her when Jarrett came in.
Yeah.
Because when Jarrett came in, they kind of really they changed the essential of what made the Allie character relatable to begin with.
Yeah.
And she just kind of became like another woman on the Knockouts roster. And I feel with Jarrett gone, they're slowly but surely, getting things back to the way they used to be before Jarrett was gone, and trying to fix everybody else in the process. So Jarrett departed has been very good for people like Allie. So definitely not a bad thing.
It's a good thing. EC3 and Tyrus took on Impact and Seidel, with EC3 and Tyrus getting the win there. Austin Aries, he's got some hardware with him, doesn't he, Matt?
A little bit.
4 belts or 5, or how many was he wearing? I don't know. Jimmy Jacobs and Congo Kong destroy the offices of Park. And and a nice little aside from Stu at PW Insider, he goes, didn't Daniels and Kazarian visit the office like years ago and find out it was abandoned? Yeah, new writers, Matt, right?
Yeah.
So they trash an office trying to get Abyss to show up. So they're still trying really hard. The Weapon, Brian Cage, makes his Impact Wrestling debut, kills a jobber. This dude is pretty impressive. This is your first time seeing him, isn't it? Or have you seen him the little you've seen of Lucha?
I saw Brian Cage in House of Hardcore against Sami Callihan a few weeks ago. So I mean, he's all right. Like I've nothing he's done, nothing that I've seen him do so yet has blown me away. He's got a great physique. He's got a hell of a good look. I can see why the company's behind him and why they're probably going to push him to the moon. I know I know whose career he ends at this run of tapings. So clearly they've got the rocket strapped to this guy's ass. Hopefully it's a good investment.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Brian Cage. For a big man, he can do some real cool shit in the ring. So his feud with Tejano on Lucha Underground was just fantastic. The matches he had with Tejano. Lee and Conley are backstage looking for LAX, and they find Fallah Bahh eating some M&Ms, okay? And then they saw two masked guys, so they thought it was LAX, and they were going to beat him up, but no, it was just a couple of jobbers. Again, whatever they're doing with these guys, I'm not impressed. X Division title match: Ishimori against El Hijo de Fantasma. I don't know, Matt. Again, the X Division is not what it used to be, and I kind of was hoping for a little more. It seemed like it didn't seem like Phantasma was ever really on a roll to win this one, and it's weird seeing that considering how much of a badass he is on Lucha Underground. So I don't know. What were your thoughts on the X Division title match?
It was fine. Nothing to write home about. It was there. It's honestly, sadly, that's just been a lot of impact has been over the past couple weeks. So like, it's not bad, but it's not amazing, and it's just kind of there.
Yeah. What did you think of the main event with an actual lengthy match between?
I did enjoy the main event. I did like the fact that we actually got a good match out of these two guys, which I knew they were fully capable of. I'd rather this would have been the match where Aries won the title instead of the 2-minute title win. I'd rather would have them just built up to the title match for a few weeks and let Aries win the title here. But clearly they wanted to go about things in a different way, and they did. But I mean, I still thought it was a really good match.
Yeah, I guess they wanted that shock factor. What Austin Aries is here. The Twitter people as the tapings go, "Whoa, Aries is here." 3 minutes later, whoa, he's the champion.
Yeah.
NXT this week, we are back at Center Stage in Atlanta, GA. Video package with Zelina Vega and Andrade Cien Almas ahead of the title versus NXT career match to main event NXT this week. First match of the evening may not have went how the creative team at NXT thought, because in this one you would have sworn Velveteen Dream was the babyface here, don't you think, Matt?
They know by now. The reactions that he's getting.
Yeah. And Jose usually gets great reactions, but Dream's way overshadowed Jose's reactions on this particular night. Dream gets the match, gets on the mic, and says he's the NXT Male Competitor of the Year, the overall Competitor of the Year, and the Match of the Year. Aleister Black, Asuka, Tyler Bate, no one cares. As you can see, the Dream's name is clearly on the tip of everyone's tongue tonight. Nice little impromptu there because of the crowd chanting for Velveteen. And so, good stuff there. And if you can't see that, he doesn't have time for you. William Regal with a huge announcement. 2 weeks, the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic is back. And the winner gets to face the tag champs at NXT TakeOver New Orleans. So we're going to get right into that in a couple of weeks. So that's cool. Who do you think comes out of this, Matt?
Oh, you want my finals prediction already?
Yeah, what's your TakeOver match?
AOP versus War Machine.
Oh boy. AOP versus War Machine. Oh, finals for the okay. And then do you think War Machine defeats them? And
yes.
War Machine and Red Dragon in New Orleans?
No, I think the Dusty Classic Finals is in New Orleans.
Oh, it says here Regal said this year's winner of the Dusty Classic takes on the tag champions at New Orleans.
Oh, okay. So, I must have missed that line for Mr. Regal. I figured the finals of the Dusty Classic would be at TakeOver New Orleans.
Do we get an ROH Tag Team Championship at New Orleans?
That's kind of really fast.
Yeah.
But I can't see them putting AOP in that spot again.
What about TM61?
I already know they got eliminated.
Oh, okay.
Man, I wish I could remember everybody that's in this tournament right now. Because I know they did 3 out of the 4 matches in the first round on this set of tapings, and they announced who the other team was on the tapings, but they didn't have an opponent, and I'm assuming they're facing War Machine at the next set of tapings to round out the first round. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to have to say it's War Machine. Because unless they're going to do AOP again, and I can't see them doing AOP and Undisputed Era again, unless Sanity's involved, and I'm forgetting. I mean, maybe Sanity's involved, but to me, I have to say it's going to be War Machine.
Yeah, I would, just because it's been a good feud, I would not scoff at the triple threat tag match at New Orleans. If it's Sanity, AOP, and Undisputed Era, I would not hate that at all. So, Nikki Cross takes on the beautiful Vanessa Bourne, who was in the Mae Young Classic, and I thought Vanessa looked pretty good here. I think she'll eventually.
She looks better every single time she comes out and gets into that ring.
Yeah,
she is improving each and every time, and that's that's what you're looking for.
Yep.
You know, I think that's great. I absolutely love the fact that I can see someone improve it each and every time they step into that ring, and that's what NXT is supposed to be for, especially for the talent that we don't know. Like, if you can see an improvement every time they step in the ring, something's going right with that wrestler, and I definitely think that's going right with Vanessa Bourne. I think I've seen improvement in her every single time that I've seen her on NXT TV. So I think the sky's the limit for her. I think she can do big things in that division in the months and years to come.
Kind of like the improvement you've seen in Liv Morgan from week to week, right? No.
See, I see, that's the problem. I didn't see that in Liv Morgan, and I still don't see that in Liv Morgan. I will give her credit. She is one of the most attractive women on the roster.
How you doing?
But she is absolute shit in the ring.
Yeah. And,
I'm not going to, be a fan of Liv Morgan's just because she's hot. I feel like that's a disservice to the women's division in general. Her wrestling skill needs to at least be on par with her looks. Until I'm going to show any interest in Liv Morgan as a character on WWE TV. It's just, she never improved in NXT, and she got called up way before she was ready, and she hasn't shown any improvement since being up on the main roster. The only thing she's good at is getting her ass beat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when she's on offense, she's fucking terrible. If I could say one good thing about her in-ring work is she could take a hell of a bump. She takes good bumps. But she sucks on offense.
She does a good job leaning on the ring and being a cheerleader too. So.
Well, yeah. Oh no, Liv Morgan would make a phenomenal manager. If you wanted to put her in a managerial role and have her manage somebody, and she's in the Zelina Vega role, I think she could be fantastic. But I don't think she belongs in a wrestling ring right now.
As if NXT knew that we recorded on Tuesday the last couple weeks and did not cover NXT. They did a nice little recap for us after the Nikki Cross match. How about the little stare down between Black and Dane last week, Matt? That was pretty cool, huh?
Oh, it was good. And I really think it was the first time we've really heard any extensive talk from Killian Dane on a microphone. Yeah. And I thought he did a really good job. And dude, that guy's a beast, man. Killian Dane's a beast. I'm very much looking forward to Killian Dane versus Aleister Black.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
It's gonna be good.
On the women's side, Ember Moon, Shayna Baszler was supposed to be a title match last week. Baszler was basically just destroying Moon, and then Kairi Sane made the save, and so that'll lead to Baszler and Sane rematch from the finals of the Mae Young Classic next week on NXT. Main event time. Johnny Gargano, Andrade Cien Almas Part 4, title versus NXT career. And Matt, for the fourth time, they delivered again, didn't they?
Almas doesn't have bad matches with Johnny Gargano.
No.
He just doesn't. He might have some bad matches with some other people in the roster, but there's some kind of chemistry with Johnny Gargano that does not allow Almas to have a bad match with him. And I'm sure if I'm Almas, I'd want to work with Gargano every night.
Yeah.
And never not work with Gargano, because that's when he looks his best. But yeah, well, Gargano is technically written off storylines right now. We'll see where it goes leading into New Orleans. I still think we're getting Gargano and Ciampa at TakeOver. I don't know how it's going to happen yet, but I still feel like that's where this is leading. Like, even if it's a one-off thing and Gargano returns to NXT to get one more shot at Ciampa before leaving and joining, clearly Triple H wants him on his vision of 205 Live. And I see Gargano debuting on 205 Live, the 205 Live after WrestleMania.
Yeah, I have a feeling. You know that William Regal has a soft spot for Johnny Gargano, as you've seen over the past few months. So I'm sure, given what happened, I'm sure Regal will make some sort of an exception somewhere down the line, and we get Gargano and Ciampa at TakeOver.
Someone on Twitter suggested to me that they think Candice they'll do an angle where Candice fights to get Johnny's job back.
Oh.
So they could do like Candice LeRae versus Zelina Vega, and if Candice wins, Gargano gets to return to NXT. They could easily do something like that if they wanted to.
That'd be cool.
So I thought that was a good suggestion. I wanted to give that a shout out. I thought that was a pretty good idea.
Yeah, the crowd obviously loves when Candice and Zelina mix it up at TakeOver, and then again tonight on NXT. So that would definitely be a money match, and to put that stipulation on would be fantastic. Of course, Ciampa comes in with the crutch and attacks Gargano, and that allows Almas. That's why the referee was down. That allows Almas to hit the hammerlock DDT for the 1-2-3. Andrade Cien Almas retains, as he's keeping it warm for Aleister Black in New Orleans. ROH this week, briefly run by that. Did you get to catch ROH this week, Matt?
Yeah, I did.
How about that Flip Gordon and Jay Lethal match? Woo!
Dude, you want to talk about a guy who doesn't have bad matches?
Yeah.
Flip Gordon doesn't have bad matches. That kid is special. Yeah. And I think he's going to be a big deal in years to come. Like, he's just getting started, and I feel like he's just going to get better and better as he goes along. And a lot of people, like, if you're not talking about him now, I think in a year or two, everybody's going to be talking about Flip Gordon.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of he kind of reminds me a little bit of Evan Bourne, a little bit, but obviously a lot more muscular. And if I remember the tail of the tape right, he just debuted in 2015, if I remember that tail of the tape right. So, phenomenal match there. Jay Lethal gets the win with the lethal injection after Flip Gordon slipped on the ropes to do a slingshot move. I don't know if that was on purpose or on accident, but either way, we've said it before on the show, those ropes get greasy, so when that stuff happens, it's definitely not the fault of the wrestler sometimes when that shit happens. As Jay Lethal is walking up the ramp, Colt Cabana cuts him off. Like, oh, hey, what are you doing there, Colt? Gonna start a little something with Jay? No, he's got some news for Jay. It was announced that at 16th anniversary show, it will be Jay Lethal taking on Dalton Castle for the ROH Heavyweight Championship. That'll be a fun one, Matt, won't it?
Yeah, dude. Like, why the hell wouldn't it be? That sounds like a great match. I don't expect the title change.
No,
I expect it to be a really good match.
I think it's a title match to legitimize Castle as champion. I think, and obviously it sounds like we're going from Jay Lethal to Marty Scurll after that.
Yeah, I mean, Scurll has pretty much weaseled his way into whoever wins this match. He's next in line.
Pretty slick, huh?
And I would not. And I'm going on record right now. I would not be surprised to tell you that Marty Scurll is your next Ring of Honor World Champion. I would not be the slightest bit surprised if that happens. Like he talk about a meteoric rise right now. Marty Scurll's on that right now, and I could totally see him holding the Ring of Honor World Championship before this year is over.
Yeah, a good phrase of what Marty Scurll is doing right now. He's hedging his bets.
Yeah,
basically told Jay Lethal, you beat Castle, you give me that next shot. Then he goes later on to Dalton. If you beat Jay Lethal, Dalton, you give me that next shot. The second first round match in the Women of Honor tournament featured Brandy Rhodes, the beautiful wife of Cody, taking on Karen Q. And Brandy is coming a long way in the ring, and I thought Karen. I don't know much about Karen Q, but I thought both did pretty good here. I thought it was a fairly solid match. It's weird to me, and maybe you can make some sense of it, Matt. It's weird to me how she kind of doesn't play her heelish role as the valet of Cody when she's in the ring. Like, she doesn't try anything dastardly or dirty or anything like that. Does it seem kind of odd? Does that kind of stand out to you? Seem kind of odd, or any reason behind that?
I got nothing for you.
Yeah. Obviously, we all know what's going to happen with Brandy Rhodes because we looked at the brackets, and waiting for her in the second round is going to be Tennille Dashwood. So, main event.
Brandy getting ready to get that L.
Yeah, getting the L. Main event time is for the 6-man tag titles. SoCal Uncensored taking on the Hung Bucks. Matt, again, this is kind of weird. SoCal Uncensored is acting heelish. The club is not, which makes me think. I think big baby. I think there's a big babyface push coming with the Bucks and Omega. They're gonna branch off of the club as the Elite on their own, and I think there's gonna be like a major babyface push onto this. I think.
Yeah, I feel like it's a long time coming. So.
After some chicanery, SoCal Uncensored got the pinfall after Scorpio Sky hit Mac Jackson with the belt. But wait a minute. Bully Ray's music hits. And, Bully Ray goes, well, I'm not a general manager, and I'm sure as hell not an authority figure. But I am now the enforcer of Ring of Honor, because I'm here to make sure that honor in the company is restored, because that honor has been out the window the past year. That's pretty cool, isn't it, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, it's in the vein of Nigel McGuinness.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it could be cool. Yeah, exactly. And he's just there to make sure the code of honor essentially is adhered to. And you know what? I thought it was a perfect way to introduce him as that character. And I like the fact that, WWE's putting him in the Hall of Fame, and they're cool with him doing that, and ROH is cool with that, and, the two companies are kind of, like, coexisting type of deal. Same thing ROH had allowed the Hardys to come in and win their tag titles. And don't tell me ROH didn't know that the Hardys weren't going to WWE a few weeks later. I'm sure only a handful of people knew, but there's no way the Hardys didn't tell ROH ahead of time, like, we're going to be at WrestleMania. Like, I'm sure ROH knew.
It's great when everybody plays nice.
Yes, exactly.
Because
it doesn't kill
wins.
Everybody to be nice.
No, everybody wins when we play nice. Everybody wins. The two sides, the fans, everybody fucking wins when everybody's playing nice. So, Monday Night Raw. Hey Matt, how about a 2-hour match to kick off Raw? What if
I never thought I would see the day. And when the match was starting, dude, I was told you were on crack. When the match was starting, and you looked at my earlier tweets, I'm like, this match has the potential. If they do this right, this match could go an hour.
An hour. Yeah.
An hour. Like, I figured, this could take up the whole first hour of Raw. This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And no, just the first 3 guys took up the first hour of Raw. And I'm just like, oh my god, I wonder how long this match is going to go. And,
I got 3 words for you for the first hour of Raw. Seth fucking Rollins.
Monday. I was gonna say Monday Night Rollins, but all right. I
like that.
I was gonna play off the T-shirt.
I was playing off the older T-shirt of Seth effing Rollins or freaking Rollins.
I was referring to the shirt he was wearing on Raw Monday night,
which I like. I like that shirt. I might purchase that.
And I feel like he was most certainly Monday Night Rollins on Monday. I feel it was the best outing Seth Rollins has had with the company since returning from injury.
And it was a great way to follow up what he talked to Angle about the week before.
Yep.
Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins kick off a 7-man gauntlet match. All 7 men that are in the chamber are going to be in a gauntlet match. Obviously, the gauntlet match works where 2 guys start, and once the pinfall eliminates a guy, the next guy comes on down. And Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins put on a pay-per-view quality match that went about 20 minutes. And your oh shit moment of the day, Reigns going for the spear, and Rollins hits him with a couple of side kicks and goes for the curb stomp, but Reigns got a roll-up for 2. Then Rollins counters that roll-up with his own roll-up and pins Roman Reigns to surprise everybody. But then when you look at it, Matt, it's like, well, that just cements him winning on the chamber, right?
Yeah, the only guy I had as a dark horse as a chance to win the chamber won the gauntlet match. And, as soon as he won the gauntlet match, I'm like, well, any chance of the world we had of Braun Strowman winning the Elimination Chamber went out the window when he won the gauntlet match on Monday.
Yeah, I had hopes that maybe... Well, we'll get into it when we talk to the chamber, but yeah. I had hopes that maybe Balor would be the guy, but just a surprise, like, you thought like this all year long, I got you, pal.
Personally, I see Balor either fighting Miz for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania, or for some reason they're going to team him and Seth Rollins up to go against the Bar for the tag titles. Like, I feel like those are... They've been tagging at the house show loops.
Yeah.
So I feel like those are the only 2 possible spots for Finn Balor at WrestleMania right now. Luckily, they both involve championships, so, it could be a lot worse.
So, we're sitting here, Matt, 20-minute match between Rollins and Reigns, and we're like, cool. All right. Out comes John Cena. And predictably, John Cena gets the upper hand for a great moment of it. But, outside of the slow early on, basically from commercial to commercial, once they came back from commercial, these guys went for 33 fucking minutes. And Cena basically threw everything but the kitchen sink at Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins kept surviving. How amazing was that story that they told for Seth Rollins? Basically, the last 2/3 of that 33 minutes with John Cena.
Oh, it was great. Like, I can't even imagine anybody that would say a bad thing about that, about the whole first hour of that match, with not only John Cena but with Roman as well.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
And rumors, I don't know if this came from Uncle Dave or somebody else, but rumors are there was reasoning why Roman and Seth started the match, as it is being rumored that Seth is going to be challenging Roman after he wins the title from Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Oh, spoiler alert, he's winning the title from Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. I think that spoiler alert was a year ago, wasn't it?
Well, I had not heard that Rollins would be the first to challenge. I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Especially with, if you're trying to make Roman your top good guy. I think.
Well,
his first few post WrestleMania Seth Rollins, that's a terrible idea. The best case scenario, if they want to keep him as a good guy, and even this won't work 100%. To me, the first feud would be Miz I'd have Miz drop the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania to be a Braun or Balor or whoever, and I would have Miz be like, hey, I'm the guy who beat you for the Intercontinental title. Now I'm going to take your world. Yeah. I'm going to take your Universal title away too. I would have Miz as the first challenger for Reigns post WrestleMania. It would not be Seth Rollins. That's not a good call for a company who wishes to make Reigns their top babyface.
I don't think it was first feud. I think maybe they're looking SummerSlam with that.
Okay, well that's something entirely different. Yeah. Because at that point, Dean Ambrose could be involved in that as well.
Yeah, they were just planting those seeds right now to eventually go later. I would totally agree with you. I'd have Miz win like a Fatal 4-Way Raw after Mania. They had a Fatal 4-Way after Dallas 2 years ago. Something like that, a Fatal 4-Way, triple threat, or even a one-on-one match to determine Reigns' next contender at Backlash, since that's now a dual-branded pay-per-view. We know the Universal Champion will be defended on that pay-per-view. But 57 minutes for the first two pinfalls, amazing. And next man out is Elias. He's picking up those pieces. Seth only lasted about 9 minutes against Elias, though, as finally Rollins was broken down enough to get the drift away by Elias for the pinfall. And another thing I liked, Matt, was they were as the action was going on in the ring, they cut backstage to the eliminated wrestler with Renee Young. I thought that was cool too. I really liked how they did all. I liked how they meshed those 2 hours. I thought that was well done.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
As Rollins rolls out of the ring, the crowd chants, "Thank you, Seth." I think job well done creatively for Seth Rollins on that night. He already was a superstar, but I mean, he comes out on Monday this week, Matt, after Chamber. He comes out at Chamber. I mean, he's going to get a huge pop this weekend and on Monday, man. He's already going to get the huge pop, but it's going to be even bigger with the respect factor. Finn Balor is next up, and he kind of gives a nod of respect to Seth Rollins as well on his way to the ring. Him and Elias went at it for about 18 minutes. I mean, so this wasn't Rollins is out after 65 minutes of action. Let's just roll through the rest of this. They kept going, and Balor and Elias went 18 minutes before Balor hit the coup de grace to eliminate Elias, and then out comes Miz next. Axel and Dallas entered, but there was no Miz. That's because Miz attacked Balor from behind, kickstarting Balor against Miz, which went 13 minutes. Miz hitting the skull-crushing finale and eliminating him. That leaves one guy left, for the Miz.
Just one.
One guy by the name of Braun Strowman. I loved Miz's face once he realized who was left. Oh, shit. And Miz takes off running, and, you can't outrun Braun Strowman. Haven't you watched enough tape, Miz? Come on. I mean, you even tried to outrun him before, back in the docks, and that didn't work. And then Strowman just clubs Miz and knocks him to the ground. That was great. But how about Miz hitting a skull-crushing finale on Strowman? That looked kind of interesting, didn't it, Matt?
It was certainly interesting.
I mean, it didn't do shit, but it was pretty cool to see, wasn't it?
Yeah, it didn't really have much of an impact, huh?
No, Strowman beats Miz after about 10 minutes, so the total time for the gauntlet match, 1 hour, 48 minutes. What are we going to do with that other 12 minutes before the top of the hour? Let's just have Strowman running power slam everybody, and that's what he did. He basically just took the Miz and the Miztourage to Power Slam City. Population of 3. Jeff Jarrett's announcement showed after that, and some astute viewer on Twitter posted a crowd reaction. Guy clapping, and his significant other goes, "Who the fuck is that?"
Amazing.
Yeah, you could see her read her lips clear as day. She goes, "Who the fuck was that?" Asuka.
And honestly, you can say whatever you want, dude, but that fucking video package made him look like the world's biggest goofball.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that was not a flattering video package for him at all. Like, you can say whatever the hell you want, but it like, to me, that was like WWE poking fun at him more so than anything else.
Slap nuts.
Yeah. Slap nuts, all right.
After that 2-hour match, we need to have a cigarette and calm down. Asuka's in the ring, interviewed by Renee Young. Talks about how she's going to make Nia Jax tap out. And before the interview could finish, Jax came in from behind and attacked her, dropped some leg drops and a Samoan drop. And basically to give Jax some heat going into the match that we all know who's winning.
Jax, you jobbing? Jobbing Jax.
Cool. Jobbing Jax. That'd be a great enhancement talent from the 1980s name. And next up for Bret Hitman Hart, it is Jobbing Jax. He's from Parts Unknown.
Best there was. Best there will be.
He's from Parts Unknown, and also from Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. Pretty cool video package of Ronda Rousey showing her training. Hey, look, there's Brian Kendrick in some of those videos, as if we didn't know.
As if we haven't been reporting that for weeks.
Yeah.
I think I would go months. I'd say that we've been talking about that.
Yeah.
So, bada bing, bada boom. How you
Realest
doing?
podcast in the room.
You know it.
How you doing? The Bar took on Titus Worldwide. This was not for the titles, but this was basically to set up a title match that has yet to be announced, I'm assuming, as Titus Worldwide defeated the Bar once again after a 4-minute match. So we get a 2-hour match to kick off Raw, and Vince took over and gave us a 4-minute match, a 4-hour match. We're going to get a 4-hour match on this dual branded pay-per-views. Everybody's all in the same match.
Fucking Vince.
Wyatt and Hardy cutting promos as it was announced that they will face each other at the Chamber. Then next up, main event. Women get a main event. Pretty cool. 6-women tag match, which makes no sense. Alexa Bliss and Absolution take on Sasha, Mickey, and Bayley, the 6 women that are going to be in the Chamber. Makes no sense because Alexa Bliss saved Mickey James from Absolution a couple weeks ago, but now she's tagging with him, and I don't know, Matt.
Why are you trying to figure this out?
No, I'm not trying. I'm just stating how that's not logical. What'd you think of the women's main event for Monday Night Raw, Matt?
It was fine. I've seen better from them. But I mean, it was there. I feel everybody that had to follow that gauntlet match was kind of had their work cut out for them. Like, I just feel like you weren't going to get any better than that at that point. And, you know, it was just kind of like, yeah, you're in the 3rd hour and good luck with that. You know, type of situation.
Sasha Banks makes Alexa Bliss tap out in the bank statement to end that match. And we head to SmackDown, which is also in Phoenix. AJ Styles kicks it off. And before Renee could conduct the interview, the crowd loved them some AJ Styles, so they started chanting some more. And AJ drunk it in, man. And basically kind of talking about how Renee asked him about if he's in control of his own destiny. Obviously, he's got to put his title on the line in a fatal 5-way at Fastlane, which, hey, Matt, we all know who's going to win that one, right?
Nope.
You don't know who's going to win that one?
Nope. I'm shocked.
Yeah. Well, they just paid the man, so time for him to have the title. Styles said individually he could take him on, and then he that was kind of funny. He led Renee on a tour of the ring of what could go on where on a fatal 5-way, and AJ Styles was your tour guide as he showed Renee Young all the places where things could go wrong in a Fatal 5-Way. Corbin interrupted, reminded him that the last time they faced, he beat him for the United States title, and also beat him again in the rematch. Kevin Owens came out next after that, and talked about how he's going to put AJ through the announce table with a pop-up powerbomb, and also talk some shit to Baron Corbin. Shane McMahon came out and said, enough talk, let's get some action, and said that Kevin Owens is going to be in a match against this man, Dolph Ziggler, so that'll kick off SmackDown. And in the main event, AJ Styles, Baron Corbin. Kevin Owens, Dolph Ziggler, they went for about 13 minutes. I thought it was a very solid match. No surprise from two guys of that caliber. But damn, Matt, that super kick to the back of the head at the end of the match when Zayn was distracting Ziggler, that looked... Ziggler sold that one like a champ, didn't he?
Yeah, it was good, man.
Man, that was a brutal-looking kick. Good stuff, though. I mean, lots of good near falls. Ziggler hit a zigzag. Got a 2 count there. And then, of course, the interruption from Zayn after that. Jinder Mahal comes out talking shit to Bobby Roode, and he said he unveiled Bobby Roode's top 10 ballot where Roode put himself at number 1, breaking the rule. You would think they just wouldn't count that if that's a rule for Daniel Bryan's top 10, right, Matt? If he put himself at number 1?
So silly.
Roode came out to answer Jinder, and then Orton came out, and there you go. Roode knocks Jinder over the ropes. Randy tried to RKO, but Roode said, not this time. You're not fooling me twice. Hits Orton with a glorious DDT. Roode's music plays, but then Mahal comes back up and hits the Colossus on Bobby Roode to end the segment. So at Fastlane, Daniel Bryan wanted to put Jinder in the match against Bobby Roode, but Shane overrode him and makes it Roode versus Orton. What do you think of this whole thing, which is quickly going nowhere?
It's going nowhere, so I don't care.
The Shane and Daniel Bryan thing is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, dude, we're so close to the freaking WrestleMania at this point. It's just like, is he gonna work or not? Because honestly, if it comes down to the fact that he's not working, it's
gonna be a lame
fucking
payoff.
WrestleMania. Yeah, exactly. And I'm already starting to just try to accept the fact that he is not gonna work, because I don't want to get my hopes up and be let down. And and I'm just at the point where I'm trying to not care anymore about this entire thing, because I feel like if he's cleared, somebody would have told me by now. And every time I try to ask somebody about it, nobody wants to talk. So I don't think the dude's cleared. And if he is, then they're doing a hell of a great job of keeping it a secret. But I'm tired of getting my hopes up for something and WWE taking it away. So as of right now, I'm just going to believe for now that he isn't cleared, and save myself the disappointment of thinking I'm going to see Daniel Bryan wrestle at WrestleMania when I'm really not.
Yeah. 6-women tag match up next. Charlotte Flair, Naomi, Becky Lynch took on the Riot Squad. Pretty decent 6-women tag. I don't have any complaints with it. Obviously, the point here is to put over Ruby Riott, as Charlotte has defeated 2/3 of the Riot Squad, but has not yet defeated Ruby. Ruby with the pinfall over a former champion in Becky Lynch. And Ruby basically saying that the only way Charlotte's going to get to her is if it's for the title, which they agreed upon. And so there's your women's title match at Fastlane. Got a little segment with Owens and Zayn. Owens kind of being confused about how Sami Zayn's playing nice all of a sudden. And Sami Zayn says he'll even lay down for Kevin Owens in the center of the ring at Fastlane, so Kevin Owens could be the champion to go to WrestleMania. I don't think it's going to work out that easily, is it, Matt?
Probably not.
Are we getting Owens and Zayn at WrestleMania?
It sure as fuck feels like that, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. I wish it was for the title, some title, Universal title. Owens Zayn for the Universal title, and AJ and Nakamura for the WWE. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think we're getting a figure poke of doom at the Fatal 5-Way.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
And it looks like we're getting New Day and Usos again, huh?
I think this is leading to a triple threat at Mania with the Bludgeon Brothers in it. I think the Bludgeon Brothers are going to come out and lay waste to both teams at Fastlane before the match ends, and I feel it's going to be a three-way at WrestleMania. And as much as I don't really care for the Usos, it's about fucking time that WWE allows these guys to work the main WrestleMania card. Mm-hmm. So let them go in as champs, and whether they successfully defend or they lose them, like, for crying out loud, those guys deserve to actually be on the main WrestleMania card after all these years. So we'll see how that goes for them.
And of course, Gable and Benjamin got a little screwed thanks to Kofi. So maybe it ends up being a four-way too. Who knows? Or a triple threat at.
I think Gable and Benjamin have had more than enough opportunities at this point. Yeah. So I don't foresee them being a part of that.
Of course, Matt talked about the Bludgeon Brothers because as the New Day was celebrating their win and punching their ticket to the #1 contendership at Fastlane, the Bludgeon Brothers came out, and Rowan wanted to get in the face, but Harper said, nope, we got two jobbers to beat. And two jobbers they beat, didn't they?
They squished some jobberies.
Baron Corbin cell phone promo that we all love, and with words on the screen, Oh yeah, speaking of words on the screen,
I'd love to find out whose idea this was, so I can smack them in the back of the head.
Please. Yeah, fucking dumb. And now they're doing it for the New Day's entrance with Big E talking. They put the words on the screen when Big E talks. It's like, fuck me sideways. This is stupid. Nakamura video package is next, followed by main event AJ and Baron, which I thought was fairly solid. No surprise that AJ Styles got the win there. Probably the coolest deep six ever from Corbin as he put a couple of more revolutions into that deep six. I thought that was pretty damn sweet. As AJ Styles is celebrating, Owens and Zayn attack him, but then interestingly enough, Baron Corbin laid out Zayn and then Owens with the end of days to end the night. An okay edition of SmackDown, Matt, but just does not feel like a WrestleMania building SmackDown, does it?
Not really.
And that's probably the problem is that's a Fastlane building SmackDown. So that's probably part of the problem. The gear ain't gonna shift until after Fastlane. I think that's part of the problem the creative's in right now. And Mixed Match Challenge was after that. What'd you think of the Road Warriors, Matt?
It was fun, as usual.
Yep.
It went exactly how I thought it would. I did not think Nia Jax was taking the pinfall, but Mr. No Last Name, Apollo, I was pretty sure he was going to be doing the JOB on the Facebook TV, and he most certainly did.
That rhyme.
So that was the point, sir.
So the Road Warriors get the win there. Again, entertaining fun as the Mixed Match Challenge has been. That wraps up the first round. Second round starts next week. Finn Balor, Sasha Banks take on Miz and Asuka. One more note on SmackDown. No Rusev for the second straight week. What the fuck?
Yeah, isn't that weird? Like, I understood last week because they held him out for the Mixed Match Challenge,
Yeah.
But like, I did not at all understand why he wasn't on TV 2 weeks in a row. Like, I feel
He's getting too over.
which is such bullshit, dude.
I know. Yeah, but don't put it past Vince, do you?
No, I absolutely don't, because there's been rumblings within the company that Rusev isn't over. Rusev Day is just a fun chant, and that's what's over. That Rusev himself is not over, but that the chant is over. Like the same fucking excuse they used years ago that Daniel Bryan's not over, the yes chant is over. Like, I'm hearing that same shit about Rusev right now, and it's just like, it's disgusting. And if you really and truly think that, you're really a fucking moron. The dude's over, man. And, it's time to push the man and let him shine.
Just announced for Madison Square Garden on March 16th.
The Garden.
Nakamura and Styles against Owens and Zayn.
Should be a fun little tag match.
All right, let's wrap this puppy up with the Chamber. All of 4 matches we have to cover. Let's cover a 5th one though. The Bar's going to beat Titus Worldwide. So there, we covered it.
Yeah,
right,
like I don't even think we needed. Yeah, I don't even think we needed to discuss that.
Woken, Matt Hardy, Bray Wyatt. This is the match that we've been waiting for, not the one at Raw 25. This is going to be. This isn't the final chapter. I think.
No, this is most certainly not the final chapter.
Mainly because if Matt wins, it's 1-1, and then
Yep.
they can go have their final deletion at Mania. Because Matt Hardy's winning this, right, Matt?
You would certainly think so, since Bray won the Raw 25 match. You would certainly think Matt's going to tie this series up and win at Elimination Chamber, which would set up for their quote-unquote final deletion match at WrestleMania. So, I mean, to me, that's what makes the most sense right now. So, we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens.
I don't see Bray winning that one at all.
It would be a huge mistake, in my opinion, for Bray to win that match.
Yeah, very much so. Asuka, Nia Jax. If Nia wins, she's added to Asuka's championship match at WrestleMania 34, which they keep playing it off as we don't know who she's going to challenge. We know she's going for the Raw Women's title, probably.
I absolutely disagree with you.
Oh, that's right, because of Ronda Rousey.
I think Ronda Rousey coming to Raw was Asuka's first class ticket to the Blue Brand. I most certainly think we're getting Asuka and Charlotte at WrestleMania, and I think that match could look, seriously, if they wanted to, that match could main event that show. Because I feel like Charlotte and Asuka could tear the fucking house down, and I think they will. But yeah, I think Asuka is off to SmackDown after Elimination Chamber. I think her last night is at the Elimination Chamber. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they hold Asuka off until maybe they have her show up at Fastlane after Charlotte beats Riot in like 30.
That would be sweet.
And then after Charlotte beats Riot in like 30 seconds.
That would be a sweet way to do that.
Yeah, like Charlotte's in the ring with the title, celebrating. She goes to leave, and the Asuka mask hits the screen. Then she comes out like, "I challenge you to WrestleMania," and the crowd, the crowd goes nuts. And that would be really cool. That would be a nice little surprise, a way to do it.
The lights would go out, and people would be like, "What the fuck's going on here? What? Wait, Ronda's signing a Raw contract, so why are the lights going out?" And then all of a sudden the mask appears, and boom, the pop.
Yeah, I think that, honestly, I think that could be really, really cool. They could do that.
Playing off of that, how do you see the women's Elimination Chamber match for the Raw Women's Championship playing out? Your competitors, the champion, Alexa Bliss, Bayley, Mandy Rose, Mickie James, Sasha Banks, Sonya Deville. Now, Matt, I'm going to go first, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
What you just told me, Asuka going to SmackDown.
Yeah, I really and truly believe that.
I don't think Bliss walks out now. I thought all along Bliss would walk out as champion in this match, but now you're gonna laugh at me, man. You're gonna laugh at me, but I think we're gonna have we have a no-brainer for the men. I think we're gonna shock the world for the women. I am going with Mandy Rose.
Whoa!
Walking out of the Elimination Chamber, your new Raw Women's Champion.
Whoa! I just sat up straight. I did not see that prediction coming. Okay, let me be the first to say, no one on the planet Earth would be happier than me to see Mandy Rose win the Raw Women's Championship on Sunday. But at the same token, I don't see it happening. I do think Alexa Bliss retains in the chamber. I think the dark horse is Sasha Banks. I don't think any of the other four have a snowball's chance in hell. I could be wrong. I would love to be wrong.
I just think something fucking weird is happening here that we aren't seeing.
Dude, I would love it. I would love everything about it. But I don't see it. I see Bliss retaining with an outside chance that Sasha Banks could win. I don't foresee. I mean, maybe even you could even maybe give it to Bayley, maybe. But I don't see any shot for Mandy, Sonya, or Mickie James. I hope you're right, dude. I'd be so happy when we sat down to record Sunday night if Mandy Rose was the Raw Women's Champion. I'd be happy as hell. I don't see that happening.
My gut feeling is it's going to be a multi-women match at Mania for the Raw Women's Championship. I don't think it's going to be one-on-one.
Okay, I could see that. I could see that.
So I think Mandy Rose. Well, I think something weird's going to happen. That's why I say Mandy Rose, because
like define weird. Like what are you thinking you were going to see?
Just her walking out as something we don't expect. Somebody we don't expect walking out as champion. That's what I mean by weird.
Dude, I'd love it. I would love it.
Because the men's match is already predictable.
Dude, I highly doubt we're going to disagree on the men's Elimination Chamber.
Asuka Nia Jax is predictable.
Yeah.
So something weird is going to happen in this chamber match to why I picked Mandy Rose. Absolution has been booked well, unlike the Riot Squad.
Yeah, even though it's basically a tag team now.
And so they have been booked well. They have the numbers inside the chamber. I'm just saying, something funny is happening in that women's match, and I think Mandy Rose comes out as champion.
Like I said, I would be happy as hell if you were right.
Then I think Fatal 4-Way. We're gonna have a singles match with the women with on the other side. If your theory holds true, which I believe in, Asuka, Charlotte. I think at Mania, I think we have a Fatal 4-Way between Bliss, Jax, Rose, and Sasha, or maybe Bayley in there too. I don't know. If my weird theory doesn't play out, then I have Bayley win the title and defend it in a Fatal 4-Way with Banks, Bliss, and Jax. But then, what do you do with Absolution? So, I think Absolution plays a factor in this, and by winning the chamber, it's so crazy that it just may work, Matt.
Like I said, dude, no one would be happier than me. I would very much mark out over that. I don't see that happening. I want you to be right. I really do.
Oh, I know. I don't see
that happening.
I don't see a one-on-one match for the Raw Women's Championship at Mania. I don't see a one-on-one match. And if we're playing to chalk here and nothing weird happens and Alexa Bliss retains, and Bliss takes on Jax, then here's what happens. Bliss takes on Jax at Mania. Bayley and Sasha take on Absolution at Mania, maybe on the pre-show, and Sasha turns heel. You know, that might be the chalk play out if Bliss retains, and they just have her face Jax. But I don't think
I think it's going to be really shitty, honestly, if Jax loses to Asuka and still gets a title shot anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, I don't believe. Asuka, you lost. Oh, Nia, you lost to the person who's getting the title shot at WrestleMania, but we're going to give you the other title match just because we're feeling generous. You know, to me, I feel like when she loses on Sunday, she should be out of consideration for the WrestleMania title picture unless it's a multi-woman match. She should not be getting a one-on-one opportunity for the title at WrestleMania after she loses on Sunday to Asuka.
And you could even stretch out my crazy theory into a fatal five-way. Have Bliss, Jax, Bayley, Rose, and Sasha. Poor Mickey's going to be left out in the cold, but you know, you could have that. I don't know, man. I just think it's too predictable for the men to have a champion leave the women's. I just don't. I don't see it. You know, if I was a betting man, I'd put my money on Bliss. But since I'm not betting on it, I'm gonna put my money on something weird. And then we got the men, first time ever. 7 men in the chamber: Strowman, Elias, Balor, Cena, Reigns, Rollins, Miz. Elias enters the chamber last. Miz enters the chamber first. And Matt, who's winning this one?
Roman Reigns.
Oh, I forgot all about that song. Dark Horse, Balor. If Vince wants to shock the world, Balor. If Vince wants to make money, Strowman. If Vince wants to jerk off, Roman. So there's your 3 choices. You got story, money, or jerking off. And we all know what's going to win here, right, Matt? Jerking off. Who starts the chamber? Miz?
In my opinion, it should be Miz, Rollins, and Balor.
That'd be fun.
Because they were both, you know, technically second chance shots. So I feel like they should both be, you know, they should have to start with Miz. But I don't know if that's what they're gonna do, but I mean that's what I would go with.
Yeah, that's what logic would dictate.
Logic.
That's gonna do it. Yeah, logic out the window. That's gonna do it for Lost in the Midcard. And thank you to SpiderDuck.net for being our host, enabling us to be on iTunes and any of your favorite podcasting apps. Make sure that you subscribe to us. All you have to do is search for Lost in the Midcard. Hit the subscribe button when you know every time a new episode comes your way. Every Thursday, every Monday after WWE pay-per-view. Well, hey, that's this Monday. So this Monday will be our next show as we break down the Elimination Chamber. And you can also subscribe to us on YouTube. The links to all that on our Facebook page, facebook.com/LostInTheMidcard. Also on the Twitter at LITMC Podcast. Give us a follow there on LITMC Podcast because we share a lot of cool shit from the wrestling world. Always some fun back and forth with guys in the wrestling world. Kind of like Seth Rollins and the Young Bucks talking about going to the gym today. Matt's on the Twitter at Raw Showtime. I'm on the Twitter at JB Huskers. Matt, before we ride off into that sunset and lock ourselves into the chamber, what's your final thoughts?
I hope you're right, and I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah. I'm crazy, but you know, sometimes crazy happens in the WWE. So we'll find out if I'm crazy or if we're just gonna be like, we saw these coming a mile away. But for Matt, this is Jeremy. Thank you for tuning in to Lost the Midcard. We'll be back at you with our reaction to the Chamber on Monday.